5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
I can only hope I haven't got the. I can only hope. This is a fantastic start. I can only hope I actually have this turned on correctly this time, or else this will be 2 days in a row. I've severely fucked up. But yeah, what is it? 67 we're doing this now? 67 days in a row? POD a day. One of these every day. How does he do it? You know, someone give him $1 million that he can then convert into Great British pounds. Because it's masterful. It's masterful. Very Formula One heavy today. I did kind of say yesterday I was going to talk about maybe the Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight. It's going to call him Tommy Fumbles there, but he won. But that was under the illusion that Jake Paul would have won, who was kind of who I was rooting for to win, and Jake didn't lose. Although Tommy lost, although Tommy won, it doesn't really feel like Jake lost. Like, he'll get his rematch, and ultimately, Tommy's been doing this his whole life. He's a fighting man from a fighting family, and although he clearly looked like the actual boxer in there more so than Jake landed the bigger punches. Tommy landed more punches. Jake knocked him down, and that's enough for me to be like, you won on split decision. Let's just say that. Well, why am I saying let's just say that as if that's some sort of nuanced thing? No, that's literally what happened. You won on split decision. Not even a decision or like a knockout TK or anything like that. Split decision. Like, it wasn't easy. Maybe, it should have been. So yeah, that's what I would say on that. The Furies were going on like, if it even goes to decision, let alone split decision, Tommy, the fighting thing's not for you. Well, it went to split decision, mate. But they ain't saying that now. Now there's all respect and shit like that. But yeah, I feel like he's proved himself. Like as a very low level amateur fighter, which I think is fair enough. He's been doing it for 3 years. I think he's looking decent. I think KSI laughing at Jake. Obviously, it's his job. It's what he's got to do. He's got to add fuel to the fire. He's got to make it look interesting. He's got to laugh any opportunity he can. Be a troll. But that being said, Jake's done so much more to like prove himself than KSI has. KSI is like knocking out a bunch of YouTubers still. Like, Jake is literally on a different level, I think. And I'm not saying, look, I don't know who would win between those two, but I'm fairly confident. The thing is with KSI is it's like, and I don't want this to sound out of order, but it's like, he's not actually like good, it feels like. He's just wild and crazy, and like, you can be good, but if someone's coming in with all these windmills and stuff, it's just like, what are you doing? Like, you're just acting like a mad, like acting crazy. Jake's got insane knockout power, and I think there's a good chance Jake wins that. And I don't even not like Jake at this point, so I don't really care. Anyway, I more want to be talking F1 today. The season, that shit gonna be start. I mean, it's race week. It's fucking race week, boys and girls. We've waited so long for this day. When did the season end? I don't know, last year, like November or something. It feels like forever ago. But the thing about, which is nice about Formula One, is when it's in its off season, football's still going on. So I didn't really think about it once when it wasn't on. I was just kind of watching football, enjoying that. Enjoying that. Chelsea haven't won a game since like the 2nd of November. So yeah, I wouldn't say enjoying it, but been watching it. And yeah, and this just snuck up on me, and it's like all of a sudden this is back. I didn't think the first race was until like the 19th of March, so it came earlier than expected. Drive to Survive came earlier than expected. I think Drive to Survive has been good so far. I would say, in terms, it's hard for me to rank it. What I would say is, even though like last season was meant to be like the best one ever because like it was really close on track, I actually think that makes for a bad Drive to Survive season, because I just don't. When they actually have episodes that are really heavy about on-track things, and we're like watching a bunch of replays from the races, those are always the most boring, because they're replaying stuff I've seen 100 times before, just with enhanced radios and Will Buxton dropping his sound bites. Oh my god. Let's just say, and then let's just say Verstappen is not a happy boy on Christmas or whatever. You know, just come out with some bullshit. So even though, yeah, it was really, really close and tight, like if you didn't watch that season and then you watched that series, yeah, that would be enjoyable for you, but I'd seen it all, and also I didn't really like the outcome because obviously I was rooting for Hamilton a bit more, so I was just kind of like, I thought last season basically was mid. Whereas this season, so far, what I've seen, they've had some episodes, I feel like, I can't remember, maybe episode 4 or 5 or maybe 6, one of those ones, I can't remember. There was like 2 in a row where it was just like, there was so little on track stuff and so much behind the scenes stuff that was just interesting. In episode 2, there's so many office moments, like when Otmar's gonna go sing Happy Birthday to Alonso, and he's like, "Do I say it in Spanish or do I say it in English? Happy birthday." And he's like practicing both, and then Alonso walks out and he just starts singing it. Like when Toto Wolff literally, God, it's so embarrassing. He turns into like a crazy man. Like, he's so desperate that Mercedes aren't winning. He doesn't understand it. He like goes into this meeting and he's like calling everyone a cheater, claiming everyone wants death on the drivers because they're reckless and stuff. And then Horner's like, "Mate, if you know, just fix your car." And he's like, "You fix your car." And then Horner's like, "Man, that's not wrong with my car. My driver's at the front." And he's like, no, your drivers are complaining about the car." And then Horner's like, that they're not, they're at the front. And it's just like so awkward because Horner's like, I can just go ask them right now if you want. He's like, "Yeah, go ask them. I've got the receipts. I've printed it out." And it's like, what are you saying? "I've got the receipts. I printed out." Like, that's going to hold up more than Perez walking in here himself and saying, "No, I'm happy." Like, what? He's going to say that and you're going to bring out some receipts of like things he said in testing months ago. So yeah, that was great. Other great moments. Looks like we're going to see Tsunoda breaking down in a couple of episodes' time. I haven't got that far yet. It's been enjoyable, man. I like to see the behind. I like all the Piastri stuff was really cool. Like how Otmar got him. It's like Piastri was there. Otmar thinks he's happy because he's got the best young driver. And then Zach Brown's smug. And he's like, "I think we've caught him with his pants down. He looks really dumb right now." And Otmar's like, "You know, I've been in the sport for a long time and I've got something on my sleeve." And then Zach Brown's like, "Oh, I don't know how to deal with this, but I've got an idea." And it's just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He's like, "I'll sue you." It's like, you know, getting the handbags out. He ends up with Gasly, he ends up with Piastri, and they're looking like they got a better car now. Otmar's thinking, "I got the last laugh." So that was great. I just think it's been a really good season so far. I would say it's season 1 is really good. I don't really remember the first 2 that one because I haven't watched them in so long. This is 5 now. God, I don't really remember. I would say this has been in top 2 this has been top 2 or 3 out of the 5 so far. I'd go definitely top half for me. But I just want to quickly do some predictions, driver predictions. I saw Tomo F1. He's a F1 YouTuber. Been at it for a hot minute now, and he kind of runs the game in that corner of the world. And I was watching his predictions, and I thoroughly disagree. And even though Tomo's got way more knowledge than me, and knowledge in terms of Formula One, I'm basing this off of basically what I want to happen. I understand a lot of this stuff is completely biased and not going to happen. What prompted me to do it was I saw him put De Vries dead bottom, and I was enraged. So I was like, "No, I'm making my own." And here we go, man. We're gonna go from bottom to top. We've obviously got 20 drivers, and yeah, like I've not seen any. I didn't watch testing. That seems boring to me. I can just read the news and look at the timesheets after. Every year they're like, "God, the cars look so different. They're visibly different." And I look at them and I think it just looks the same. It's the car, you know. Especially Red Bull, so they didn't change the livery. Every single time I go to say livery, I'm about to say they didn't change the skin like it's a COD gun, but I catch myself before I get murdered for saying something like that. But yeah, in bottom I put Logan Sargent, which I didn't really want to do. I kind of like want to back him because he's like American. I feel like a lot of people think he's going to be shit and finish dead last. But I kind of want to back him for that reason. Apparently he's actually competent. He's not like a Latifi type. And I don't think we've had an American in for I don't know if I've ever seen an American since I've been watching. So it's kind of new. It kind of feels like we have because you kind of just lump the Canadians in sometimes. But no, I don't want to put him last, but he's in a Williams at the end of the day. And look, I'd prefer to put just like Magnussen last or someone. But apparently the Haas has been looking okay. And that's another thing I don't know. Like, I've heard McLaren is looking bad. I've heard Alpine is looking on fire. And no, Aston Martin is looking on fire. So I know like vague things. So I kind of get that. But at the same time, I've kind of just ignored it because I want to do what I want. And just manifest it. Hopefully this comes true. So I put Sargent 20th. This is already I'm trying to like convince myself of things. So I've got Magnussen 19th in a Haas. I don't like Haas isn't the Haas of maybe the days where they were like pretty much the worst car in terms of their pit stops, their crew, their drivers, and Gunther Steiner and Gene. But I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go like Magnussen. We've seen him be a bit hot-headed, and he says he's calm now because he's got a kid, but. Don't know, man, and I'm just trying to make up reasons for him to be a below drivers I like more. So I've put Magnussen and Hulkenberg. So Hulkenberg's 18th. And then I've put Sonoda in 17th. Still haven't said the name De Vries yet, who Tom I put last. I just like De Vries. I rate De Vries. I backed him, and in that race he came in, he stepped up and performed. What else we got? We've got who was I? Sargent, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Sonoda, Alex Albon. You gotta love Albon. Really glowed up since it was always decent. It was like Toro Rosso and then Red Bull, but he was actually good at Red Bull on the grass. When he went on the grass, when you started like P20, came back to P5. Did you ever think you got a win? But I got a couple podiums, a lot of crashes. But I would say. I know the car has improved slightly from when George Russell was in it, but Albon did about as good a job as George did when he was in that Williams, and everyone acts like George is the best thing since Jesus Christ, our Lord and Saviour. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought Albon was good in a Williams, and might as well call him Mr. Saturday if you're just going to chuck that name out there. De Vries, I put De Vries above Albon. Apparently the AlphaTauri is bad this year, so apparently they're going to be Bottas bottom. But again, I've tried to ignore that and just think, oh no, they'll improve with time. They'll improve. So I've got De Vries 15th. And by the way, these people are all going to be separated by like 1 point anyway, so it's like at the bottom of the table, so it doesn't really matter. Then we got Bottas, Valtteri Bottas. Good 1 lap pace. I'm kind of stealing what Thomas said, but good 1 lap pace. Racecrafts could be better. And I do rate Zhou. I rate Zhou. Not a lot of people spoke about Zhou last year, but Zhou's been he's been one to watch. He's been quite decent. I've rated it. So we got Zhou above him in 13th, and then we got Stroll kind of begrudgingly up there. Apparently his car he's in is good, but he I don't know, Lancelot. He's a bit of he's easy to hate on. He's apparently good in the wet, although that's kind of a myth. He got pole once in the wet. Is he actually good? I don't know. Piastri, I've got an 11th, which, by the way, I know is absolutely insane. Apparently, that McLaren is basically a glorified milk crate, but I'm just basically manifesting. I'm trying to believe that back half of the season they're going to improve their car at least in the same way that Mercedes started off with a car that was dreadful. There was like finishing really badly first half of the season. Was they actually? No, because Russell was top 5 for like so long. But they were struggling, and then by the end of the season, they were faster than the Ferraris because at the base of it, they got a better car still. So I'm like saying McLaren might start off bad, but they have a higher ceiling. Like, think about how bad they were in the first race of the last season, and they kind of got back to being a midfieldy side. So I reckon over the course of the season, just trying to manifest it, they'll get themselves back in, and Piastri apparently is the real dealio. So then we got Ocon begrudgingly. I've had to put him there above Piastri, even though I already prefer Piastri. Like when they said to him, do you regret anything after being a little rat and weasel after taking like 4 mil from Alpine and then switching to McLaren to work with Norris? Because it's true. I just reckon he didn't really want to work with like Ocon or someone lame like that, whoever he'd be put with. After all that and all that switching, like, do you regret it? And he's like, no. Like a little smug bastard. So I like Piastri already. I've had to put him below Ocon because apparently that Alpine he's in is just looking really good. So, and Ocon he picks up good points, to be fair, even though I don't like him, and he's had a win before, so it could happen again. And then above Ocon I've got Alonso because you can't do it the other way around. It's just not allowed. It's almost blasphemous. Well, it's not black. He's not really the god. He's more like the devil, Alonso. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people would have Alonso a lot higher. Apparently, that Aston Martin, people are saying, not only is it like good enough to be the fourth best car, but it could be good enough to challenge like the like the Ferraris and stuff, and the Red Bulls, which sounds mental for them to make a jump that extreme. So I'm just gonna assume I'm gonna put that down to people overhyping it. And I know in testing or whatever it was like up there with them, but testing's different. I don't know. Like I've seen Latifi pull it like P1 in testing once. No, like I don't know, man. Or practice, whatever it was. I don't know. And then he finished last in the race. Who else have I got? Then I got Norris again. My bias coming in here. Look, my bias would want to carry Norris even higher than 8th, but I've had to. That's as low as I'd go. I'm not going below 10th. I couldn't even do it, even if he was got put in a Ford Fiesta. So I put Norris there. Then above him we've got Gasly. Gasly's in an Alpine. He's in a fast car and he's good. So I've had to put him there. And then who's Gasly's teammate? Ocon. Wait, no, is it? Yeah, I keep forgetting. Alonso and Ocon are different cars now. So Alonso's. Yeah, that's wild from me. The Aston Martins, which apparently are meant to be one of the best cars on the grid, and I have the highest finishing 9th, and a McLaren above them. I am insane. I can't be held. So where did I put? Wait, so the other Aston Martin is Stroll, and I have him in bottom half. Yeah, I'm a madman. Shoot me. 6th, I have Perez. I just can't stop being rogue. I don't know, man. I just hoping some kind of pressure gets to him, old age maybe, or like he's not that old, is he? Or just the pressure of being next to Verstappen gets to him a bit. And yeah, I just think Ferraris will be better consistent because they've got Binotto's gone and they're going to be a little bit more cutthroat. They'll be a number one driver and they'll make the right decisions. And Sainz is good in tactical scenarios. Like he always makes the right call. I've got Russell P5. I think Russell is good. He's consistent. He's decent, and I don't predict him any lower than 5th. I got Sainz 4th, Leclerc 2nd. That's all I'm gonna say. I think some people would put Leclerc first. I think a lot of people would put Verstappen first, and I get it. When Hamilton was winning all the years in a row, it's easier to put Hamilton first. But I would also say it's boring. And what do you want? Do you want a medal if you predict it correct in Verstappen P1? It's like sure. Well done. You know what I mean? Tomorrow I predict it's gonna rain. Yeah, I live in England. You know, I'm not gonna get a biscuit for it. So the whole point to me is you're meant to try and predict something that's like you. If when Leicester won the league, and you could be like, I predicted that. It's like, oh damn. You know, that's why the odds are so good. That's why the guy won how much ever he won on it, because you know it's predicting. It's like City. It's like okay. Sainz, yeah, below Leclerc. Look, Leclerc is over however many laps a season. Gonna prove he's better, but Sainz will have his moments where he proves he is the real deal. And then I kind of given it away. I went Verstappen, Hamilton. More great bias from me there. But I think, look, if Hamilton is in a car quick enough, then to challenge the Red Bull on sheer talent, will, drive, determination, and experience, he will make it happen. Especially after how he was scarred. Do I really think that's possible? No. Apparently the Mercedes isn't that good. Apparently Hamilton more likely finished around the 5th to 3rd at best, but kind of 3rd to 6th range. But I've got my wishful thinking cap on, so yeah, no. Ceiling can't hold us. Hey, those are my terrible driver predictions. But if they come true, I will be a relatively happy lad, happy camper, happy F1 watcher. Yeah. I mean, they are technically predictions, and you can't say they're not. So, yeah. How are we going for? 1905. Yeah, Chelsea was founded. Yeah. This was, what was this, 67? I think I said 67 at the beginning, didn't I? Yeah. Which means I'll be back again for 68.
Here with the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like a hero.